You can either choose to live a life for yourself, or you can live a life that can impact many. Hello, and welcome to Shining Light and Truth. I am Marari, and on this podcast, we always focus on shining the light, which is Christ, and sharing his truth. And today, I wanted to talk to you about the impact that you can leave on somebody else's life, and that we have the choice if we want to leave an impact or if we want to just carry on with our lives living for our own selves. I don't know if you've noticed, but society today, what they focus on is to really focus on self-care, to focus on oneself, on our appearance, on the way that we present ourselves, which is not bad to take care of yourself. It's not bad to, look presentable. It's it's not bad until it gets to the point where we're idolizing ourselves or we're putting ourselves above everybody else, or we're so focused on ourselves that we don't realize that there's a world out there, also happening at the same time. And so today there's a problem of we're focusing too much on ourselves and our success and what my name can do, where my name can be placed. And it's really sad how we tend to lose that part of ourselves. The natural way of the human is we need each other. We were meant to bond and to care for one another. But in this world, we're being taught that you really need to prioritize yourself. And yes, you do, but you cannot forget that you also need to live for others too. You need to live for yourself, but God gave you something that somebody else needs. And if you focus on just benefiting yourself, then you may never reach that person that needed to hear a few words from your mouth or needed that extra help or support. And so the solution to this, the only solution that there is to remember the example of Jesus Christ. He was the perfect example. He came, and instead of asking to be served, he served others. He didn't focus on his own life, and he didn't want to become king here on earth. He didn't focus on doing that. Instead, he focused on helping, healing, restoring. It was his mission to serve. There is no greater love than the one that he showed for us when he died on the cross. He gave everything. He gave everything he had, his life. And I don't think we understand the weight of that. I don't think we fully understand how much of a sacrifice he did for us. Because if we understood that, we wouldn't be so caught up in our own lives. Jesus was focused on everybody else. He walked with God. So that's the most important thing. You take care of yourself because you're taking care of your relationship with God. You can never help somebody without first being full of God. You can't, with his presence. You can't help somebody without first knowing Christ. Or it's almost like when you go to the doctor won't be able to help you in something that he hasn't studied. For example, if you go to an eye doctor and then you start asking about stomach problems, then they're out of their expertise. They cannot help you. And when we want to help others, we need to make sure that what we're talking about, it's something that we've lived, or experiencing. And we speak about how the moments in which God works in our lives and he strengthens us, he encourages us, he's testing us, and it's in the smallest ways that we're serving others. It's in the smallest ways that you can be leaving a big impact on somebody else's life. But like I said before, it's something that's being forgotten. It's more realistic now to just focus on self. So I just want to talk about the importance of recognizing that we all have something to share with the people around us and the world, even in just the smallest ways. And that it's so important to live not just for yourself. So lately, I've just been thinking about how easy it is for us to live for ourselves. It's easy to wake up and think about what I need to do in the day, think about um like what I want right now. It's easy to do that. But then it's far less common to think about the people around me. It's far less common to think about the people that I see in the everyday, like what are they experiencing? Or just small encounters that you have each day. We don't really think about the impact we have when, let's say, you go to a grocery store and you're paying and they ask, "How are you doing?" Like you could say, "I'm having a terrible day." Like you're giving off that negativity to that person that they don't need that because they may be having a rough day. Instead, you can say, "I'm doing okay." Like at least show a little bit of care for that other person and not just leaving your burdens on them. Because there is a time and place to express yourself. It's just you need to be noting like when it's the right time. And so, yeah, I've just been thinking about how easy it is to just live for ourselves. But through this, I've also realized that each one of us is so special and that each and every one of us has something important. Each person has a uniqueness and something special that the Lord has placed within. And it's not meant to be kept just for ourselves all the time. It's sometimes meant to be shared. I often wonder how many people truly recognize what they carry within them. I wish that more people would understand that even in the smallest ways, they matter and that someone somewhere needs exactly what they have to give. And so, in order to kind of just like give you an understanding of how each of us have something so special to give in this life, I wrote this example down. And this is one that I'm sure my coffee lovers are going to understand. Coffee is fine on its own. Milk is fine on its own. Creamer is fine on its own. But when you combine them, something better is created. Something that wouldn't be possible without at least two of them working together. In the same way, we can live a life focused only on ourselves, but will never experience the full richness of what life is meant to be. I could spend my whole life writing for just myself, keeping every thought private. Maybe I'd be content. But what if something I write has the power to shift someone else's perspective, to encourage them, to challenge them, or even change their life? There are things that you can do in this life that you may be thinking you can't do anything, but even in the smallest ways have large impacts. I don't know if you've thought about what you want to do in this life, like what you want to be proud of, like the day that, God forbid it's soon, right? But the day you pass, what do you want people to remember you for? What do you want to accomplish? yes, it's good to have personal, but I think the most meaningful achievements are the ones that affect many generations, that impact many generations in a positive way. It's up to you to decide if you want to leave an impact. It's up to you if you want to if you want to do your best to help somebody else. It's up to you to find your talent, to find your way of working with others. It's up to you to realize what you have, because there may be many good writers out there, but none of them will write exactly like you. None of them will express their words exactly the way you do. There are many pastors, but God gave each a unique way of speaking, a unique revelation is that is given according to what the Spirit is giving to them. And because of those men and women, we're able to be blessed. And then there are people serving. They are leaving an impact. Giving a meal to somebody who hasn't had one is a beautiful ability. It's a beautiful thing that you can do to make somebody's life a little better. Their day is changed by that act of kindness. If you are somebody that is gentle, you never know the gentleness that you have can actually make somebody see Christ. And honestly, that's like the real reason that we do it. It's so not only it's to love one another, to show that love that Jesus has, but it's also to, point back to him. It's always about pointing back to him in every way that we act and every way that we live our life. It's to point back to him. And there are so many ways that you can impact others' lives, that you can leave, that you can bless them, bless their day, bless their. Sometimes what you do can impact a lifetime and you don't even realize it. For example, if you actually, I'm going to reference a Bible story, Esther. This was a young woman that it seemed like she didn't do much. It seemed like she was a regular person. And she was just living life as God intended her to live it. It was just given to her in that way, that she was born with this natural beauty and that she was escorted to the king, and then she becomes queen. But she's just living her life normally. And then it comes the day where she actually has to use a few words, just a few words, to bring hope for her people, to bring that protection to her people. And that's like showing you the importance of even the smallest things, like the smallest. I don't want to say that her act was small either, because it was a risky move that she did, but it was just a few words that changed the course of history for her people. There could have been another massive killing of the Jews, but no. Queen Esther used her words to persuade the king, to ask the king to save the Jews. And I have the verse here. Esther 7:3 says, "Then Queen Esther answered, 'If I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be granted me for my wish and my people for my request.'" It seems like just regular words. You could say that they were very simple. but these words actually saved her people and the life of many, and many generations were saved because of those words. And so now in today's day, maybe you can't do many, like maybe you don't think you have great talent. Maybe you can't speak great. Maybe you can't write great. Maybe you can't sing great. Maybe you can't do anything in a way that you think is great. But that doesn't really matter. Just be you. Esther was being her. She was being herself. You just need to be you and just show Christ through every aspect of your life. And you'll see that even your words that come out of your mouth could change somebody's life. It doesn't matter where you go. There's always people, and you can always, this is the important thing, like the power of your words is great because you have the power to bring encouragement, hope and clarity, or create doubt and fear with the words that you release. And so when you speak wisely and speak life. Never speak to hurt somebody else, but always bring hope to people, bring life. And when you speak this way, you may be changing many generations because you really don't know the life of the other person that you're seeing, crossing your path in life. You may think that they're having a normal life, that you may think that they are doing well, when in reality, behind closed doors, they're struggling. And I think that's happening with a lot of people right now. That behind closed doors, even like celebrities, they struggle the most, in my opinion. But behind closed doors, they're confused and they're lonely and they're hurting. And so when you see somebody on the street, it's your chance to bring light and life through Jesus' name. Never underestimate what you can say. Never underestimate the the power of your actions also, because what you do correlates with what you say, because you can never be saying something you aren't living yourself. I encourage you to use whatever to just firstly be yourself, and to secondly just bring life to others and realize that you really can impact them greatly with just letting Christ shine through you. And so I wrote down just simple ways that you can show up for others. You could pray for someone. You could encourage a family member. You could point out the good in someone. Or you could send someone a verse, like a text, that has spoken to you. These actions may seem insignificant, but they can have a lasting impact and actually change their day. And isn't that something so incredible? How something that you thought was small actually became something so meaningful to somebody else. To wrap this podcast episode up, I'm going to share my final thoughts. At the end of the day, life was never meant to be lived alone or only for ourselves. We've each been given something unique, not just to hold on to, but to share. When we choose to step outside of ourselves, even in the small ways, we begin to experience a deeper kind of purpose, the kind that isn't found in what we gain, but in what we can give. You may never fully see the impact of your words, your kindness, or your presence, but that doesn't make it any less real. A single act, a single sentence, a single moment of care can stay with someone far longer than you realize. So don't hold back what you've been given. Show up, speak life, and Give freely, because sometimes the smallest things you can do can make the biggest difference in someone else's life. And so, yeah, that is what I felt in my heart to speak to you guys about this week. I really hope that you guys have a beautiful rest of your week and that you would come back next week for my next podcast episode. As always, my Substack, which is just a free website platform in which you can find the written version of this podcast available for free, and you can just read over it if you find it more interesting or helpful to read. But other than that, you guys, I will see you next week, and may you have a blessed day. And let's do something today. Let's shine the light of Christ.